We've got several videos coming up towards the end of this hour here today that are unedited other than cutting out all the cussing of police going crazy against citizens. New videos up at prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com for radio listeners who want to go see them. TV viewers who are watching our video feeds will be able to see it right here on the radio at prisonplanet.tv. But the point is, we're also going to start highlighting good police officers. I've made this a very important directive with my reporters that when we find police doing the right thing or doing heroic things, we want to showcase that as well and model good behavior. And we have an example of that with our own Jason Burmis, who does reporting for us from time to time, at the Albany, New York, and the TSA comes over and says, it's against the law to videotape here. And they go, well, it's our policy, you can't. And then the sheriff's deputy shows up and says, no, it's a First Amendment right. They're allowed to videotape in here as long as they're not interfering with what you're doing. And then they're like, but he is interfering. Look, we're over here. And they go, no, you're interfering over here. That's what they do. They make a big scene, have a big pity party for themselves like drama queens, run over to you, and then make a big issue out of it. It's incredible. And Molly, we got two Mollies back there on the newspaper and in the graphics department, but one of the Mollies, and I'm going to go back out there with her, if not this week or next week, we're going to go out there with the whole crew. We wanted photos for the magazine of surveillance cameras, so she went downtown to take photos. She's the lady that takes like the photos you see, you know, around the office or of T-shirts, things like that. She's a great photographer. You know, the new photos you've seen of myself on the site. And she's there, and she's a, you know, well-dressed blonde, very polite, very nice. And they come out within like a minute at the federal building that's downtown with cameras everywhere and pedestrians everywhere. And she's out there taking photos, and they come out and say, you're not allowed to do that. It's against the law, which isn't true. Courts have ruled hundreds of times, literally, it's not. Everybody knows that. Supreme Court ruled again this week. And just 2 days ago on Monday. And she says, well, no, I just work for a local newspaper, and I'm just taking photos. And they go, well, you look shady. Get out of here. That's a quote. And she's a small woman. She left with a bunch of people around her in her face. Well, we're going back over there. Okay, because you're not, with your gang mentality, going to drive me off the First Amendment. We're not shooting over the fence at a submarine base when they're loading missiles in it. Stop acting like you're James Bond. Stop taking yourself so serious, okay? You shove cameras in our face all day. We're shoving them in your face. You don't like being under scrutiny. That's why you're trying to color a law against us. And guess what? I'm not putting up with it anymore. 9 times out of 10, when I'm out videotaping stuff, police don't say, turn your cameras off. But I've had Austin cops many times, because I know when they're running a checkpoint or something, I'll get back 100 yards. I'll be on the shoulder. Well, it's in Police Day 2000. It's in some of our other films. Cops will walk over and say, hey, you can't videotape. And I go, yeah, I can, First Amendment. And they'll go, oh, yeah, the Russians going to get us. You know, like, oh, you're standing up for your rights. You're paranoid. Nobody's trying to take, well, you just tried to take my rights right there, bud. I mean, North Korea, you can't videotape the police. I don't live in North Korea. And look, cops, it's your rights, too. These Bill of Rights and Constitution get flushed on the toilet. You can kiss everything goodbye. The prosperity, your pension funds, everything. Okay? And I know most police actually get that now. But everybody better get it right now. Cops have got a dirty, hard job. I wouldn't want it. Let me tell you who I'm really angry at. It's the punk public who wants to sit around lazy and follow all these directives of bureaucrats and people in stores and everywhere. I mean, I've got to the point now, because I'm a very polite person. When somebody's rude to me at a restaurant, I get up and I leave. The guys have been with me a couple times at business meetings. If somebody's rude to me, I just get up and I leave. You guys can stay here and eat if you want. I'm leaving. I'm not eating here. You know why? Because I come from such a polite family that I watched my family my whole life get pushed around by people and let people be rude to them. I'm not living like that anymore. I'm not looking for trouble. In fact, I'll let people be rude to me a couple times to make sure they're not just having a bad day. They keep doing it, man. You're going to get talk right back at you. And, you know, people, you better treat other folks with respect or you're not going to be treated with respect. And I'm talking about myself included. I get rude sometimes, but I'm the first person to apologize for it. We're going to start being a free country again when we start acting like free people and not slaves. And when we start demanding some respect. And I'll tell you who we're demanding respect from. The videos are now pouring in because it takes folks, you know, days to get them uploaded and up. So many people are new at this, new reporters. There are dozens of videos now going up at Infowars.com, PrisonBlotted.com, of not just our reporters like David Ortiz or Jason Burma's doing some work for us out of New York. But other videos are coming in where people just go in, turn their camera on at the checkpoint, and you say, you're a public servant. Your TSA site has been forced because it's the law to admit that I can film. This is a public place. Then they have the airport heads come out, you know, the guys in suits and say, hey, it's our policy. This is a private airport corporation. You take taxpayer money. You can't stop me. This is a public commons. I have a right. If you take any taxpayer money, I have a right. Then they try to say, well, you're soliciting. Kind of sneeze there, folks. You're soliciting. It's not soliciting if you're not selling something. If you're there telling people about freedom, your right of communication. Hey, the scanners can give you cancer. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. That's terrible. What do you mean, TSA? Let me tell you, I've been on the air with talk show hosts who hate the TSA. They're like, I'm glad they're getting 7-8-fold cancer at these places with these scanners, you know, at the 5 airports where they put them in 10 years ago. That's where they're really cooking them. I'm like, I'm not glad they're dying. And I don't want that bad mojo, man. I'm not glad when anybody dies. Even really evil people, it's like, well, that evil's been removed from the world, but I don't take pleasure in it. So, you know, we're sitting here looking at this, and it's time to stand up to them. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and fly with my children. Because, you know what, they have no future down the road if I don't just go ahead and throw them into the fray as well. We've got to stop shying away from a political fight with these people. Because the TSA are just their mindless minions. The system wants to break your will. It's dog training, obedience training. They admit it is. It's all a fraud. Now, all of that said, we do have that footage, and I said I'd take some calls. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231 on any of these issues I've raised. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. But I really got angry at the end of the last hour because this is a big deal. And people will read the full letter and say, well, they're saying that another board has their regulatory authority. And then they also say they're getting it from the president. See, like they said, well, we get it from the president and the UN and NATO, and then we might come to Congress. You see how that works? And, oh, well, we're allowed to shut down power plants that aren't owned by General Electric without a law. Oh, we're allowed to come after your guns. That's the big headline today. You know, top firearms expert, NRA, others are coming out. They're going to just use orders, not laws, orders. Well, that's what they call it, a dictator. They dictate. Dictation. Your secretary takes dictation and send a thank you card to Bob Johnson. Bob, thank you for the fruitcake. Look forward to seeing you at church next week. I'm dictating. Dictator. Dictate. They tell you. You do what they say. Well, now the TSA is coming out. There's so many examples of this. And they're saying, you know what, we're not going to come to these hearings. TSA claims it is above congressional oversight. Agency head refuses to appear at transportation hearing. The TSA has refused to attend a House transportation hearing this week with agency head John Pistole, who been caught doing nothing but lying to Congress before. He should be in contempt. Personally refusing to appear and declaring that the Congressional Committee has no jurisdiction over the TSA. The hearing scheduled for Thursday will be held by the Subcommittee on Aviation, a part of the House Transportation Infrastructure Committee. It is titled, How Best to Improve Our Nation's Airport Passenger Security System Through Common Sense Solutions. Well, common sense is anathema to tyrants. Oh, it's common sense for tyrants to dominate and break everybody's will. Headed up by Representative Thomas Petrie, I want to get them on. It will examine the impact that the regulations and policies of the Transportation Security Administration have on aviation passenger experience and the free flow of aviation commerce. Oh, no, they're going to read all the some complaints at them. according to a brief on the subcommittee's website. The TIC's website indicates the TSA head, John Pistole, has been asked to testify at the hearing. However, a statement issued by the TSA's website made it clear that neither Pistole nor any TSA official, not servant, official, intends to attend the hearing. The statement reads, by U.S. House of Representatives rules, which state the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee has no jurisdiction over Transportation Security Administration, no representative from TSA will be present at the Subcommittee on Aviation hearing scheduled for November 29th. So they spin it saying, well, General Congress doesn't, only maybe one committee. That's how they do this, to take the general power of the House. One member of the House should be able to call anyone they want. And if you don't come, you're in contempt. See, they don't want Congress having any power. So just like we have the states stand up and demand the globalists be kicked out, we need to have Congress. That's the whole move. Stand up and kick out the Federal Reserve. Stand up and tell Obama, you're not shutting down our power plants. You're not going after the guns. You're not going to just ban all semi-autos and say it's a rule-making thing, which they're getting ready to do. That's in the news today. You know you're not. Congress better do it. They better do it.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
And coming up in the next segment, I'm going to play amazing video of the bureaucrats ordering police to basically arrest or drag out people in the front foyer area of the Albany airport. And the police are just like, they have constitutional right. We can't do that. They're not up at your checkpoint. They're not interfering. And you can then see the head guy go, I'm getting the CEO of the transportation group that runs this on the phone. The police are like, well, okay. They'll probably have those cops fired. I mean, that's how this works. And he goes, the CEO? Well, my goodness, if somebody says CEO, I mean, if somebody showed up and said, put your child in a blender, CEO. Oh, certainly, CEO. Let me just immediately, if somebody in a suit says something, I better do whatever they say right now. The government says, some shadowy government, spy on people without warrants. Yes, sir, it's illegal, but I'll do that. The government says, torture these people. And when you get caught doing it, we'll send you to jail. But see, they can always find scum. The globalists admit this is a process. They just want to find out who the good cops are. They're just going to get rid of them and hire criminals. And that's the conversion to tyranny we're facing. The problem is they can't find enough criminals that can pass the test and things. So now they're just creating the TSA. Hitler did it, Stalin did it, they just create a goon force. Because there's always the police academies and military academies that have esprit de corps who don't want to be corrupt because they know it's dishonorable. Any old institution knows that. So they're always at odds with the thug group the government hires. That's what's happening right now. Let's go ahead and go to Aaron in Canada. Aaron, you're on the air. Thank you for calling in today. How may I serve you?
Hey, how's it going, Alex Jones?
Good.
Hey, no, I was just saying, you're talking about the TSA today, and I'm really concerned is because up here in Canada we have CATSA, the CATSA, and all this whole topic that you've been on this today, I called them to see if I could film them. And no, you're not allowed to film them. They actually can take your video away from you.
I mean, they could actually take you and put you in a pit and shoot you in the back of the head if we let them do it. I mean, government with uniforms is always extremely dangerous, as George Washington said. Government, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. You know, it's like fire. It's very dangerous. And, of course, they will tell you, and I've checked Canada, the law is you can film there, too. Of course they're going to tell you. Pretty soon they're going to tell you that you're their slave. Sorry, go ahead.
No, right, you're right. I called them myself personally. You're actually allowed to request a police officer to come in with you while they private search you. You can refuse the body scanners. You can do all that, but they told me that I'm not allowed to film them. I called the BC Civil Liberties to tell them this, and I said this pretty much goes against my constitutional Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada, and they told me, yep, sure does. So, I mean, it's
yeah, so the answer is go, be polite, film them, sue them.
Yeah, and
we're not looking for trouble, but we're not your slaves. You either fight for freedom now, peacefully, with every avenue, or it's going to get physical. And don't worry, they're going to start it. I mean, I know tyranny, it's like a locomotive coming down on us. We either put the brakes on this thing or we're going to have to deal with these people.
Absolutely. I'm going to go fly back to where my hometown is from where I am right now, and I'm going to film it. I don't care what happens. I'm going to refuse the body scanner, and I'm going to go in there with filming and see what happens, because I'm not just going to give up. I mean, it takes police officers 3 years to train, you can film them in Canada, but it probably takes 2 weeks for a cat's authority to train, and you can't film them. I mean, where's the sense in that?
Well, they just say you can't. That's what tyranny is. Government says, you know what, you're paying 50% in one form of tax. That's not enough. How about 60? How about 70? How about 80? The average bureaucrat's making about $200,000 a year in Europe. I mean, dog catcher level. And the public is going bankrupt. I mean, it's all coming here, man. They're going to destroy us. They're going to destroy us. Great points. Good to hear from you. Phil and Mass, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. How are you doing today?
Good, sir.
Listen, my brother just came and visited me from the Czech Republic, and he was telling me because they went through the Soviet-style Stasi-ish life, they are now totally rejecting all of the Snoop Society, the whole thing. They are obsessed with privacy.
Yeah. That's Europe's problem. I've had all the top, well, you heard him yesterday, head of the UKIP party, others on from Europe. And I'm going to hold you over. This is an important point. In fact, put him on hold. I want to give him, a couple minutes on the floor. We're going to come back to him after the breaks. We're about to go right now. That's the EU's problem, is they expanded from 15-member to 25-member, and they took all those Eastern European countries in. Well, guess what? It gave them good commie bureaucrats that were left over to man the takeover. But the people are like, well, this is the Soviet Union. Well, this is exactly what the Marxists did. Well, I'm not going to do this. People who had their dad taken away who never came back, people who, artists, who communists would be jealous of your art, not even if it was political. Or they'd say, I want your wife. And you'd say, no. Well, you will never have your art published. I mean, it just turns the ultimate scum loose who just want to dominate. Okay? They have to be dealt with. They have to be dealt with. They have to be dealt with. We have been robbed. Globalism has been a curse to this country. Everything the globalists are doing worldwide is about making you dependent. I'm getting storable food. You need it because it's the only insurance that you can 100% use. I have, family that are veterans and people like that who can't live off their Social Security, who are disabled and things, and that's why I've bought so much food. Charity starts at home. I promote what I believe in 100%, and I believe in what they're doing 100%. And the globalists do not want you to be self-sufficient. I hope you will take action, get the 6 free meals when you pay for the shipping so that you can eat them and see that it's quality. That's why I chose eFoods. As I did my research, I tested a bunch, bought a bunch. The other stuff was like cardboard or filled with MSG or made in China. So bottom line, folks, efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Follow the banners at Infowars.com or call the toll-free number 800-409-5633. That's 800-409-5633. We are taking your phone calls quickly here because I need to get to these 2 special reports and big stack of other news here. But we were talking to Phil and Mass. Phil, start over. You were saying people from Czech Republic, people from Romania, people from Poland. I mean, I run into these folks. They're listeners, and they're absolutely, and plus I've studied those countries. This is Sovietism. It's not really communism. The globalists just use the Soviet model of regional government, committees. I mean, this is communism. But again, the globalists are exempt from it. And so how you battle communists is how you battle these people. They are your enemies. Even their low-level operatives are evil. And people need to get to grips with this. I mean, the mindless, mainline liberal, they mean well. There's a lot of bad stuff about the mainline conservatives. They're part of the system as well. The average low-level liberal is not a bad person. They actually believe the propaganda. They're very childlike. But you go a couple steps above that, they are vicious control freaks, vicious people. I've studied their MO. They hate your wealth. They hate strong people. They're evil. They're inherently the scum of the earth. And they relish government power over you. And they've got to be dealt with. I mean, I just keep trying to explain this. They're mortal enemies. It would be like having a 15-foot king cobra living in your house. And you're like, oh, I think I'm going to be nice to the king cobra. Folks, you better get the king cobra out of your house one way or another. Okay, they're a barrel of snakes. I'm sorry. Finish the point about Eastern Europeans, that are not going along with tyranny. Go ahead.
Okay, well, he told me one story in particular, which was there was a man, and his security camera outside of his house filmed a robbery of his home. And they caught the robbers and the perpetrators, but then he got fined because they are so obsessed with privacy now that because his camera was facing out and viewed part of the street, they are that obsessed, and they reject the Snoop Society to that extreme. You're not allowed to infringe on anybody's privacy in any way. There's a whole host of laws in Czech Republic to prevent
I know. That's why I work with Start Page. They're from the Netherlands. A lot of those people, had their families disappear and know what to knock on the door about and dealt with, when your grandma dealt with tattletales who got off on power trips making stuff up about you. You get to where you hate snitches. And don't worry, America's going to hate them too. We're going to get hurt bad, folks. I mean, it's going to be bad.
I'd really like to make one more quick point. Is there any way that someone can start an association for Journalism 2.0 so that people know when they're a whistleblower, they have somewhere to go, they can go to a journalist that subscribes to the morals and values, or actually just the regular old standards for journalism, because it's just lost. It's almost like Amber Lyon or yourself or even Joe Rogan. But Journalism 2.0 needs to be like a standard that you can wear like a badge of honor, and that if you're not wearing it or you don't subscribe to it, you're just entertainment or propaganda. Like I can only just, having that stamp, it almost needs to be an association, like something real.
No, I hear you. It's just a lot of individuals won't get involved with that because they're such individuals, and then someone in the group may make them look bad. But I hear you, and I appreciate your call. I hate to just keep plugging it, but it's just so good. DrudgeReport.com. I mean, something like that the system hates that because it's not only the biggest news site out there, it can set the agenda, and it's not an agenda the establishment wants. If we beat the TSA, their whole thing falls, and they know that. If we beat them on any of this stuff, it's over. We beat them on the marijuana issue and states' rights, it's over. We have any victories, it's over. And by the way, the gun thing, we're winning. They're now, again, up to 5 million guns a month being sold. I mean, used to the previous record was 1 million a couple years ago. They had another 5 million a month, last numbers I saw. And that's just estimating the gun shows on top of the registered sales. I mean, there just comes down to an issue of we're not turning them in, scumbags. And all the liberals are running out buying guns now, figuring out that the government isn't going to protect them. And as soon as you start shooting a gun, you're no longer a chicken neck coward. I mean, literally, folks, to use the parable, vampires go out and bite people to make more vampires. We've got to go out and get liberals deprogrammed and get them to go out and shoot guns, get them to, we've got to get them out. That's why they want you all in big cities in cocoons, totally coward, being mugged all day, so you're afraid of everything. They do not want you getting your feet dirty out there with the garden. They do not want you in a rural area. They do not want you free. They do not want that. They want domesticated cowards who, when they want money or want something, they have to think of a bigger government benefit, or as a bureaucrat, they've got to grow the bureaucracy to grow their empire instead of growing it in the real world. Ironhead in Washington, you're on the head. Ironhead, you're using the bathroom. Ironhead from Washington is why I said you're on the head. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey there, my friend. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
I really miss Bob Chapman. He was a great head to be communing with. But what I'm wondering, we're missing something here. We're trying to take ourselves. What was it Einstein who said that no problem can be addressed at the same level at which it's addressed at? Our consciousness is what has to change. We're coming to the point where they've read on the duty of civil disobedience by Thoreau, one of the great all-time up in the back of Walden's Pond. We're coming to the point where instead of problem, reaction, solution, they're using our fear to control us. And I know what you're saying, identify the problem, but go straight from problem, no reaction, straight to solution.
No, I hear you, but some people say just don't have fear. I don't even want to call it fear. if you know a dam is about to break and you get your family out of the area because it's cracking and you know it's about to break, you're not living in fear. You're protecting yourself. People should be very concerned about not fighting back. I get that a lot of people are scared, so they don't fight back. They think they'll just stay out of the way. That is not the way to go.
Right, and that's where the empowerment from within comes. As I said before, fear is the ultimate sin, for it displays the greatest lack of faith. Once you find that conviction, minus the emotional positionality, go straight at the problem, identify it, and as the last few callers, and especially like yesterday with the start page folks the other day, go straight to the problem. Don't, and this is what I'm trying to say, is about raising our consciousness level to a higher, because they love our fear. They monitor every single inch of what's going on, and as long as we can step out of the emotional positionality and go straight to the problem and then identify a solution, which brings up a good point. Whereas wanting to call in for a long time, I have a great idea. Once a month, once a week, once a day, once an hour, instead of Ask Alex, have Ask the Warriors. Have a special show where you can get, because one of the main reasons I've been listening for umpteen years, my 91-year-old mom who's listening to you right now, one of the things we love is when you bring on people who have cogent, cognitive, good points, and let them just run with the show for like 10 minutes. Have an interactive dialogue.
It's a great idea. I also want to open the phones up for an hour or two here and there for people that have lived in authoritarian countries, so they can call in and make the parallels, because they always call and say, I have seen this before. You are in danger. Please, there's nowhere else to go. I love America. Do not let it happen here. No. I mean, it's always the same, whether they're from Eastern Europe or the Middle East or Africa or Latin America. They're so happy to be here and to know there's some basic freedom, and to see it going away. Oh, man, they're freaked out. And we've got to point out the evil and say it's wrong. I appreciate your points. We're going to go back to your calls and some other news, but let me play the way a cop shouldn't act. This article and video is up at prisonplanet.com. It's Move and Die. Cop labeled embarrassing by police department. Officer Arnold also threatened business owner during traffic stop. We've had to bleep things out here, but this is in Texas. This is how a police officer should not act, because I see so many cops now who have a crazed look in their eye, and they're wimp punks who got into that position because they feel powerless, and now they've gotten used to acting like that, and so they're out of control. And, with great power comes great responsibility, and they really are hiring a lot of dumbed down nobodies, and the police department shouldn't be doing that. You will get a bad name, and you will be hated by the community. And there's a big fight for the soul of policing going on in this country, and we've got to be there to try to help things go in the right direction and not let the globalists federalize things and turn the police into a TSA goon force. But here is the clip with the cussing bleep. Here it is.
It's not going to work out for you, buddy.
Andrew. He said all right. Hey, he said all right, man. You can't breathe.
He can breathe just fine.
He says he can't breathe.
He's yelling. He can breathe just fine.
Hey, bro, just let him go. Andrew, chill. Andrew.
You just got to relax. That's all you got to do. Go. Move.
Oh, what the f***?
Hit pause.
Yeah.
Move and
Hit
die.
pause. So you've got someone not resisting clearly. You got a cop choking him. We've all seen this where they kill somebody, pinning them down, and they're getting off on it. The other cop runs up. Another looks like a total wimp, runs like a fairy, and jumps on them. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Jumping on people because you were a wimp your whole life, and now you get to play the part of Rambo. I mean, it just makes me sick, because you never see a big, tough, mean-looking cop doing stuff like this. It's always these wimps. It's just because they're wimps. Police department should not be hiring wimps, because wimps act like punks. Let's go back to these guys.
Yeah.
Move and die?
Move again.
Move and die?
Move again.
Are you serious?
What the is your problem?
Get over here.
I'm just saying, man.
Sit down and shut the up.
Go.
Sit down and shut the up.
What the
Don't say nothing else.
There wasn't nothing necessary for you elbowing
Listen to
me
all these
back in
people
my head.
talk.
No, that was just me.
By the way, that's a minor.
You record that?
I got
I
recorded.
hope you recorded that, because it's also a
Yeah,
Shut up.
move so I can kick you. Move so I can
Shut up.
All right.
move so I can up. Now you
Hit pause
Give me a
again.
reason.
Can you imagine the incredibly, and the police now admit the guy didn't resist, and they're probably going to get rid of one of them or they're on suspension. But the point is, can you imagine if your ego wanting to dominate somebody chained up? Oh, that's really powerful. I mean, that guy must feel good all day doing that. Look, those people should not be having anyone under them at McDonald's who have attitudes like this. These are the type of cops you see all the time that hold people down until they suffocate. Let's finish up the video.
You up.
Shut the hell up.
You too. You move if you want to.
You say that he said my name.
I sure did. You got it on tape?
got it.
Arnold, 654.
654. Got it right there, bro.
Move. You move.
So, we're busy, Cassie. You get your phone up, man.
It's not my phone.
Huh?
It's not my phone.
Okay, we'll turn it off. It's not going to work out for you, buddy.
That's enough.
Andrew.
That's enough.
He said, all right.
Now, I mean, this is mild compared to a lot of the stuff we see, but I thought I'd play that, and then I thought I would integrate it in with shocker. Police officer defends the First Amendment. This is with Jason Burmis and crew at the Albany airport, and they're way back from the scanners, and they've got the head, you know, of the airport authority there who has the private contract saying you can't tape here, it's our policy. This is our private building. No, it's paid for by taxpayers. That's why the TSA on their own site says you're allowed to film. They'll come over and say you're disrupting. He's got to laugh at him and go, listen, before you drama queen, the Supreme Court's ruled, it's all ruled. Here's your own site. You know we did this with the NSA a few weeks ago in San Antonio. They usually grab the cameras from the mainstream TV stations. They didn't do it to us because we go, here's the court suit you just lost in Maryland over this. And they're like, oh, okay, well, you can go then. Again, we're the boss, not you. We're not all criminals, and then you're jail guards, and then we just give you money. Now let's go to this Albany sheriff's deputy who's told, get rid of him. The guy winks at him. He goes, I can't. And you can see the airport guy bow up to the cop. You know that cop's they're going to try to get him in trouble. We got to follow this up. We've got to also stand behind good police. Because it's your job to protect my rights, not your job to have some bureaucrat tell you to arrest people. Here is the report from Albany.
I was just talking to the CEO of the airport, and he, from what he relayed to me, he doesn't see a problem with you filming. Okay. He's just has a problem with the handing out of flyers.
And that's the whole point of the campaign, sir.
I understand that, and like I said, I would relay that information to you. Okay, and if you're,
I mean, we kind of have to hand out these flyers because I don't want to have to talk to everybody. What am I supposed to do? Read them off? You know, we're trying to be as least intrusive as possible. Okay. They're on their way up to a line. You know, they have the opportunity to read it there. Right. And again, I'm here to cover it, man. This is very important.
Come next door, please, and fill out a form.
I will not come next door and fill out a form. There's no necessary. There's no necessity.
No, you're videotaping commercially in the terminal.
No, it's not commercial.
Well, you already told us it was going to be on the Drudge Report, so that's commercial.
No, actually, the Drudge Report is a news aggregate. Yeah. Okay, so that.
All right, let's stop right there. Again, Drudge carries a lot of the stuff, so I don't know why they're bringing up Drudge Report, but obviously, you know, I'm sure they were asking what type of media is this on? Well, you know, TSA is being followed by the Drudge Report because I asked Burmis about that, and they go on to say InfoWars. But the point here is that, again, Burmis used to work here a few years ago. He lives up in New York now. He shot this video, and he's sitting there, and the cop's saying, well, the CEO just said, please don't hand out flyers. Then this other guy, you know, who's the head of the airport operations, he's then saying, you have your insurance policy. And this is the new way all of this is going. That, oh, you want to walk down the street, you got to have an insurance policy. Oh, you got to have government health care insurance policy. This is how they're engaging in this tyranny. And we're going to skip this break because this is so important. Let's continue going back to this video. Here it is.
Let me see your identification.
I don't need to show you my identification.
He doesn't have to show you his identification.
Yeah,
hit pause. Bag it up. Bag it up. Look at this. Look at this sheriff's deputy. Can we clone this guy? He doesn't need to show you his identification. He's not doing anything suspicious. There's no probable cause. The courts have ruled over 1,000 times there's no failure to ID, but they still arrest people for it. And here is this guy trying to henpeck at them, and they're down the escalator. They're not even up in the area trying to educate people about naked body scanners and their right to opt out and their right to film. But they want to just get us all in the airport, henpeck us, dominate us, and sell us on all this. But back it up, 10 seconds, the police officer saying, well, no, he has a Doesn't have to give you his identification. This is amazing. Keep going.
Okay.
I am Jason Burmis.
Let me see your identification.
I don't need to show you my identification.
He doesn't have to show you his identification.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Show you identification. I want his name.
I just told you my name.
Names, okay?
My name is Jason
Yeah.
Burmis. B-E-R-M-A-S, sir.
I can't give it. I can't give you that.
Then pause. The guy winks at him and says, "I'd like you to get it. I'd like you to, get rid of them. I'd like you to get their IDs." Amazing. Keep going.
Give you that.
Okay.
Okay. I mean,
the upstairs is now closed to all particular passengers.
Okay. All right. Just so you know.
Yep.
Okay. He's not doing anything wrong. Okay.
It said pause. This is too incredible. Back it up again. Back it up. Back it up to the start. I'm going to just shut up and let it play, except maybe telling you who the players are. Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot that part. That's in the article. TSA claims it's above the law. Where's the particular article on this that they did? I'll find the headline. I'll give it to you if you want to find the whole article and the whole video. There's like 14 minutes of it unedited. But what's incredible about all this is there it is, shock video, cop protects First Amendment, sheriff defends free speech rights against airport official during opt-out campaign. So they shut down the entire upper deck. It was even in the news that airport shut down in Albany for hours. That was on the news that day. They just shut down the whole top of the upper deck of the airport so that people couldn't come down an escalator leaving the airport to get their luggage and be given a thing. I mean, that's the little power trip of these people in these zones, and they're going to expand these Constitution zones out and out and out and out, as they're now doing to airports, then to the malls, then to the highways, then to the... Let's go back. Here it is. Here's the clip, starting from the beginning.
I was just talking to the CEO of the airport, and he, from what he relayed to me, he doesn't see a problem with you filming. Okay, he just has a problem with the handing out of flyers.
Well, that's the whole point of the campaign, sir.
I understand that, and like I said, I would relay that information to you. Okay, and if you're,
I mean, we kind of have to hand out these flyers because I don't want to talk to everybody. What am I supposed to do? Read them off? We're trying to be as least intrusive as possible. Okay. They're on their way up to a line. They have the opportunity to read it there. Right. And again, I'm here to cover it, man. This is very important.
Come next door, please, and fill out a form.
I will not come next door and fill out a form. There's no
necessary. Have your insurance policy?
There's no necessity.
No, you're videotaping commercially in the terminal.
No, it's not commercial.
Well, you already told us it was going to be on the Drudge Report, so that's commercial.
No, actually, the Drudge Report is a news aggregate. Yeah. Okay, so that means we're doing it for... I told you who I am. Okay. I am Jason Burmis.
Let me see your identification.
I don't need to show you my identification.
He doesn't have to show you his identification.
Yeah, I'll tell you
who I am. Show you identification. I want his name.
I just told you my name.
Okay.
My name is Jason Burmis. B-E-R-M-A-S, sir.
I can't give it. I can't give you that. I can't give you that.
Okay.
I mean,
the upstairs is now closed to all particular passengers.
Okay. All right. Just so you know.
Yep.
Okay. He's not doing anything wrong. Okay. If I ask him for
guidelines, yes.
As far as New York State penal law, CPL, and D&T law, he is not doing anything wrong. Okay. If I was to ask him for his identification, he does not have to give it to me because he's not doing anything wrong. Okay, and I cannot give you that information. If he told you his...
She's blocking our escalator over there.
He's clearly not blocking your escalator, sir. Now you're kind of being ridiculous.
I'm waiting on a call back from... If you could just wait over there, please. All right, well, can you just not talk?
I'll hit pause. I can't help it. Back it up 10 seconds. The guy is getting in the police officer's face, the sheriff's deputy's face. He's clearly lording over him. He's getting back from the escalators. They're on the side of the escalators. They're not in front of them. It's all about this guy's power. This guy is lusting after pecking at people. Don't you get it, man? Move to North Korea. And I talked to Burmis because, again, everybody went out into these opt-out day reportage, and I appreciated doing it. And they were asking him, well, what's InfoWars? I think I've heard of that. Well, what's that? Well, where's that go? Well, sites like Drudge pick it up. Well, what's that mean? Oh, that's commercial. But, I mean, that just shows how that's why I've always said, I'm First Amendment. I'm not entertainment. When you're out filming on the street and people come up to you, they're doing something, they say, you can't film. You don't have my permission. I'm like, well, I'm not filming a commercial for Hostess cupcakes or Ding Dongs or Twinkies. I'm here covering this live event, so you're in a public place. And, man, I mean, that police officer knows they can only demand your ID if there is some type of commission, something they believe that's been done wrong, that they can cite in court. You can't just, oh, let me have that idea. Sure, we'll just put this in a database now and try to ruin your life because that guy wants to put Burmas on a no-fly list. Well, good. Put us all on it, scumbag. Absolutely make me want to throw up. Finish the video. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Back from, if you could just wait over there, please.
Oh, yeah. He tells him, oh, I'm sorry. Hit pause. That's why I originally hit pause. I'm sorry. The guy's trying to tell him what to do. So the police officer is just finishing the interview, says, go wait over here. Get out of the way to the guy. I mean, the guy is definitely trying to create an issue. Let's continue. Here it is.
If you could just wait over there, please. All right. Well, can you just not talk? Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. There's like 14 minutes of it up at Infowars.com. But this is what we're talking about right here. And this is what it's all about. That police officer, if he has children, if he has a wife, these are their rights too. And let me tell you, people are now figuring out, you get rid of people's basic rights for little excuses, like, oh, they're getting in your way. It all goes, folks. You get rid of the foundation, it's all gone. The country will collapse into a third world cesspit. Because you know what makes countries third world? You can have countries with 3, 4, 5 times the resources the U.S. has who can't get their act together because they have no due process. No one can get a piece of property and know it's theirs. No one can have kids and not know they're going to be taken by the state. No one can start a business and know they're not going to be shaken down. Everyone I know so many people, everyone I know that tried to move to the third world who'd been successful here in the United States, started a business, got successful, got shaken down, paid the payments or didn't pay the payments, either way, and they wanted more. And if we go this way, it's over. And I can't tell you how many times I see my own reporters when they go out being so polite to these people. And I guess that's good at a level, but I got busy last week. I'm going to go out this week or soon. The crew's got to make me. I'm going out to a federal building, too. I'm going to go down to the NSA, and I'm going to in San Antonio, and I'm going to go up to the Austin airport. I've just got to, next time I'm going somewhere, I'm going to do it. I was about to go somewhere last week, but didn't get around to it because of family issues. But the point is that I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to say, knock off the pity party. Knock off the drama queening. You know full well, on top of it, who I am. Do you know who I am? Yeah, we know who you are. So you're acting like we're causing a disturbance because I got a camera. You're causing the disturbance. Knock it off. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. These people are a bunch of drama queens. Briefly, if you want to support the broadcast, but more importantly, get a really high-quality water filter, gravity-fed stainless steel system with stainless steel spigot that blows away the competition. We're running it again until December 10th. We have the supplies to do it. 15% off the already lowest price on ProPure water filters from their Traveler unit right through. No one can even get close to this. InfoWarsStore.com. Water 15, just Water 15 at checkout. 15% off of your, we got a bunch of other water filtration products as well. All of it, 15% off, but ProPure is the best. Got the Life Straw, all of it, 15% off right now, InfoWarsStore.com. All right, folks, we are live here on this Wednesday edition, 28th day of November. And I wanted to jam a few calls in here in overdrive. But briefly, I didn't even talk about this today. I'm not just saying this each new issue. I'm more proud each issue. This is our 4th issue. It is one of the best ways to wake people up. You can pay one-time fee of $59.95, and you get 12 issues delivered to your door or whoever's door you wish. That is shipping included, and more than half that cost is the shipping. An incredible way to wake people up, and it's now 60 pages, graphics, cartoons, the entire Ron Paul farewell address. First place I know of it being published, Ron Paul's farewell address. It reads even better than it sounded. And it starts on one page. It is a big poster in the middle, and it has a whole other page on the back with Ron Paul's picture, poster size on that. I am so proud of InfoWars Magazine and the team and what they're doing. So I hope that everyone out there will go to InfoWarsShop.com or InfoWarsStore.com and get your subscription today. And also for your police department, for your local library, that's the best place, the library. A lot of people give subscriptions to the library, so things will be there. I'd like to see all our listeners give a one-year gift subscription to the library. And, I mean, I can't tell you how many people will end up reading this. It's got Obama on the cover. It says, "This man wants your guns." And he's got he's sitting in an armchair on top of the American flag. So just extremely, extremely powerful and very, very provocative. And we also sell these in bulk at cost in groups of 10 up to 100. And I'm hearing they're popping up everywhere. So good job for folks buying these in bulk. That's the most important thing, is to buy them in bulk at cost. At cost. I mean, what is it, like 10 of them for $14.95, 50 of them for 40-something, 100 for even less than the aggregate. So it's all right there. I guess they've gone up on the 10-pack to $19.95 because they cost more because it's now on glossy and it's thick. That's 10 glossy magazines for $19.95. You can get 20 for $29.95, so that's the big discount there. It drops a lot. You can get 50 for $49.95. You can get 100 for $84.95. And, I mean, your Christmas shopping is done, folks. Give them a subscription or just give them one magazine, stocking stuffers. I'm just really proud of our news team, everybody here, the job they're doing. Let's just jam in Gary in New York. Gary, thanks for holding. Real quick, what's on your mind?
What's going on, Mr. Jones? My comment is kind of indirectly associated with the tyranny that we're under, but it has to do with the end of the world. I don't think it's the end of the world per se, but I think there's multiple scenarios that might end the world as we know it. I call it the Hegelian dialectic 2012. The lease on the Federal Reserve, I believe, ends on December 21st.
Yeah, but they've said they're extending it, so, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, I was going to say, because like Lindsey Williams always says, that these guys are think tanks, and besides returning war veterans, constitutionalists, libertarians, and people who are capable of critical thinking, one of their biggest enemies are Christians. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was some false flag EMP strike or an Al-Qaeda terrorist who trains.
Oh, no. I mean, the globalists could blow everything up with their Hadron Collider anytime. I just don't put stock that it's December 21st.
I don't either, but it wouldn't surprise me with all these false flag attacks over the history that, you know, they might do something kind of suspicious to create that type of fear.
And to create more superstition? Yeah, I mean, there's no telling. I think you're right. I'm not saying people are bad that think there's something in 2012. I'm just saying I don't think it's the end of the world, and the Mayans didn't say that either. That's all I'm saying.
Right, and I agree with that. But the way that these evil elites think, it wouldn't surprise me if something like that occurred just to create the kind of fear that they want to ultimately take us all over as far as control goes.
No, I hear you. Great point. Sorry to the other callers. We're out of time. Retransmission starts now with a lot of powerful info in the first hour with Paul Watson and the Manchurian Candidate. It's in mainstream news. More and more, James Holmes, the evidence is clear, is a Manchurian Candidate to get our guns. And Obama is moving towards, outside of law, banning all your semi-autos. Get ready to turn those in or to resist.
Is it not, my king, time to spring the trap?
No, we must desecrate the soul and the flesh of the Creator's creation.